Welcome again, everyone. Jerry's Old Guy Review, and we're doing a review of a, I don't know, he might be relatively new, but the company is called Smithbuilt Scale Designs. I only see his products available so far on AMain and his Facebook. So, first off, before we even, go too far, this is his company design, and these are his locations, Facebook and Twitter, where you can find him at. Now, 3D companies, so far the only company I really have a lot of dealings with is 110 Rod Shop, and I've gotten good stuff from him. These two guys look like they use two different things. But the scale built, because there was stuff for the Send trucks in particular. Power Shift was one of them that had light kits for them. And they had hard bits. Scale by Chris. Oh, my bad. I do use Scale by Chris also. I got some bits for this for the F450. But I was going in between Scale by Chris, 110 Rod Shop. So two of my other projects have a mix. This truck so far is only going to have the Smithbuilt scale design stuff on it. Now, here's my disclaimer. As any of you regulars to the channel know, I am not endorsed or sponsored by any company. This stuff is purchased with my own money. That is why I'd like to point it out to you guys. It looks like Scale by Chris and Smithbuilt probably have the same kind of printers and the same materials. So, a lot of experience with Scale by Chris stuff. So, the Smithbuilt looked pretty good. Very more detailed, I would say, even with the print. We'll get to some of that stuff, the differences. But this stuff that's sitting on the table right now, I decided to get doubles of everything. This is interior bits for the F450 because I don't have any interior bits. Which, let's just show you. So, the stuff for this truck is mainly exterior. Mirrors, door handles, rack, the bed in the back, which was another power shift, which, had push buttons in it so you can control the lights. But now, here we go. Oh, my lights will all be hooked up still. There's the interior. Wide open, just like a Sen. And when I saw this Smithbuilt stuff on AMain, I had to have it. So now on the Sicario, I love saying that. Running board. Oh, that's part of the kit. This one doesn't have the lights connected, so I can remove it. This is what everything on the Smithbuilt looks like installed. Now I have more room to put other things if I want to, like I did with the F450. You could put the sound kit over here. If you got light modules for kits, you could put those there. You're protecting all the doos and bobs and doohickeys. Oh, I guess I should be trying to make that. You know, not quite perfectly round. I like that. Perfectly square. No matter what you do, doesn't bottom out. The sideboards come with these running boards, which this is what I was talking about, the texture. So there's straight lines going this way, but there's hash marks on the top. So you basically know what direction you want to go in, but if you paint them, it will look like texturing. Then you've got the holes for rock lights. A pretty nice so far. You know, got them a little muddy and just had to wipe them down because they're new for the video. But as everything has pluses, some things have minuses. Now, I've only had it out twice with the new bits on it. Nothing really that would damage it, upset it. But here is my disclaimer. If you get these kits, hopefully you are one of those people who either have bins full of extra parts, or you have a place you can go get some, because I'm going to tell you, unlike some of the other bits I've seen, let me see if we can get it in here. So right here is where the front mounts. This is a heavily raised part. So you cannot use the stock screws in it. So this is heavily reinforced. So they should be able to take a good whack. Same thing with, you just got to keep sliding the truck around. Same thing with the back. You see how thick that is. And it just gradually goes into the main body of the part. The side body piece is awfully beefy too here. But because of the way these mounts are, this mounts into metal. These bolts were actually they were longer. So you can reuse these bolts. He comes with the sidebar. Yeah. The side parts come with extra bolts because you even get, because this part to me seemed kind of flimsy at first. So you almost, because there's no front mounting part. But once you add these sideboards, you get this reinforcement piece that connects the sideboards to the fender liners and beefens them up quite a bit. The back ones have a cross brace, so they only have two mounting places in the front, but you've got the cross piece that I'm sure will provide some flex if you were to hit this. But even these, the print is very nice. It's got your typical, it's typically raised if you were really anal, but I'm not like that. I didn't detail them. I didn't do any of that because this, as I use these trucks do see a lot of water and mud. And this one's going to be no different. But now, it slightly, here's my thing, the ease of these trucks without this on here to mess with the batteries and whatnot, but then you have a floppy body. This, you can still pull the body out and you can still connect and disconnect the batteries. You still want to take it off to connect or to change the batteries. But this right now, I just like playing with everything. This right now looks like it's going to work for what I bought it for. That I'm just going to make this, an off-road truck. There was all the little bits. I showed you guys in an early video what I got for this truck. Oh, here, you are going to want to ensure that you use hand tools. I did use hand tools, but this particular, I wasn't paying attention that this bottom piece, because the bottom piece go into slots just like a lot of the running board on most trucks, or a lot of trucks that have them. It wasn't mounted. So I was basically turning that screw without this being flush and stripped it. So I had to use a nut. So that's on me. That's not on the manufacturer, because all of these bits, I just kind of tapped them a little bit. Felt really good. And they will let you know when you're getting to where you need to be. So because I'm sure there's some of you that are like, well, I don't have one of these. What do they make for me? Well, let's go through it with my low tech the way I am. Okay, low tech away. All right. So not only is this going to show you products that I can tell you, so if you want to go check him out, you can, but this will give you some of the ideas of some of the things he has. So you've got the Sicario F450. That is the running board kit. You've got an exhaust pipe. That's just the round one. F250, 450, roof rack, or what do they call those? Ranch rack. So you've got some different options for ranch racks. But they're not just for the Sens. There's one for the RC four-wheel drive Chevy K10 Blazer. But Sen, you've got a hood stack for the Sen, another exhaust pipe. Then you've got another one for RC four-wheel drive, F450. There's just a scale toolbox. There's an more exhaust for the Sens. But who's to say you can't make those work on something else? Another roof rack, an overland tent for the Sen, universal scale speakers for whatever, Trail Finder 2 box, inner fenders again for the 450 and the Sicario, another RC four-wheel drive box, Sen, another RC four-wheel drive, H10, the H10 Vanquish bits. You've got their roof racks. You've got another RC four-wheel drive Trail Finder 2 box. You have a drop bed for the Vanquish H10 optic. Again, RC four-wheel drive. Hood louvers for the Tamiya YJ. You've got more cargo carriers for the H10. H10 cargo, different kinds of cargo racks. Tonneau cover for the TRX4 4M. Another workbox for the Sens. You have a ranch rack for the Traxxas TRX 4M. Another H10 optic metal roof rack. Then you've got scale fuel tank storage boxes. For the Sen, FMS, FCX18, you've got RC four-wheel drive Trail Finder 2 diamond plate box, toolbox for the TRX 4M, a Scale Designs Universal Drift Car center console. You've got inner door panels for the YJ, again Tamiya, RC four-wheel drive Trail Finder 2 rack, FJ metal side armor, which I haven't clicked on those. I'm assuming that they're probably 3D printed, but they could be metal. Another back headache rack for a Trailfinder 2 K10 Blazer. An MST RMX seat mount. More bits for the FMS FCX18. More FMS 18 Chevy. Another RC four-wheel drive. A seat mount for the Yokomo YD2. I'm assuming could be a drift car. YJ full door panels. A RC four-wheel drive diamond plate for the Tamiya SR5 or the Hilux. A RC four-wheel drive, that Miller Rock Racer light kit for it. RC four-wheel drive TF2. RC four-wheel drive K10. Then there's a scale Baja tailgate net for the Toyota SR5 Hilux. You've got a louvered back rack for the TRX-4M again. The Sen 250 again. The front inner fenders, which are obviously different than the Sicario. Then you've got what is this? Straight drift car pipe. A angled drift car exhaust. Front bumper, high clearance for the FMS FCX18. Rear bumper, FCX18 K10. Oh, these are both for the K10. Let me see then. FCX18 K10. Smithbuilt scale design shotgun drift car exhaust. So basically, what has he got? 67 products on AMA. So if I listed any of those things that you might find interesting, go check him out. Smithbuilt Scale Designs. So far, we're going to have a whole test it out. Oh, let's look at nature. We're going to have a whole test it out. And of course, as a lot of my reviews, we are going to come back and revisit them in a year, maybe 2 years down the road. We'll see how long they last and hold up. So, Smithbuilt Designs? Yep, I like them. And are they for the guy who's never done it before or doesn't have a collection? You might want to pick up some longer bolts. For the rest of us that may have a collection of stuff sitting around, good stuff. So, again, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you've bought any Smithbuilt Scale Design products, and let's talk about them. And until then, I will talk to you later.